Good morning, y'all. Welcome to Coffee with Connect. We get together every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9:30 and go through God's Word, have some coffee together. And today's mug is a mug I've used before. It's from the Baseball Hall of Fame. When I got to go there with my dad a few years ago, and obviously I'm just excited that baseball is starting back up. And so, yeah, I got more than just the mug today. I got all the gear on. So, go Tribe. And we're going to be looking at 1 Samuel chapter 16. 1 Samuel chapter 16, I'm in the NLT today. And we're going to pray, read, think, write, do, as we always do. So, as I always say, if you haven't prayed, take a moment, push, pause, and pray, and ask the Lord to show you something, and open your eyes and your heart to what He has for you. And today's going to be just a little bit different as we go through this, because it's a fairly long passage, longer than usual, we'll say, that we're going to read today. So it's 1 Samuel 16. I'm going to be in verse 15 through 23. It's quite a few verses here. So here we go. It says, "Some of Saul's servants said to him, 'A tormenting spirit from God is troubling you. Let us find a good musician to play the harp whenever the tormenting spirit troubles you. He will play soothing music, and you will soon be well again.' 'All right,' Saul said, 'find me someone who plays well and bring him here.' One of the servants said to Saul, 'One of Jesse's sons from Bethlehem is a talented harp player. Not only that, he is a brave warrior, a man of war, and has good judgment. He's also a fine-looking young man, and the Lord is with him.' So Saul sent messengers to Jesse to say, 'Send me your son David the shepherd.' Jesse responded by sending David to Saul, along with a young goat and a donkey loaded with bread and wineskin full of wine. So David went to Saul and began serving him. Saul loved David very much, and David became his armor-bearer. Then Saul sent word to Jesse, asking, 'Please let David remain in my service, for I'm very pleased with him.' And whenever the tormenting spirit from God troubled Saul, David would play the harp. Then Saul would feel better, and the tormenting spirit would go away." So as we read through that, there's a lot there. We're not going to dig into all the ins and outs of that, or this would be a really long video. I want to really just focus on one aspect of it, which is really kind of the music part. Music is a part of worship, and it can really help us to know the Lord better. And we see the value put on music. Even back in the Old Testament here, it was a part of society and family activity just as much then as it is now. We always have music going. A lot of times music is a part of our worship services here and virtually every church. And King David is actually the one that made music a part of worship in the tabernacle, in the temple. It's another form of expression. I like to say it's also just a language in and of itself, because it can be very personal. God can use music to get to the heart of things in ways that nothing else can, as we see from the story that we read here. And so what about you? What is God saying to you when it comes to not only this passage, maybe what stands out to you, but also in terms of music and the way that God uses other forms of communication, if you will, to just make a difference in our life. Maybe you can jot down some comments, some notes for yourself about this. Read it through a few times. This one, there's a lot to process in the story, but what do we do with this? Well, that's where this is going to be a little bit different, because there's various things you can do with this, but I'd actually like to turn this around just a little bit and ask you, is there a song that God has used in your life? Is there a song that has just made a difference for you? Is there, maybe you have that go-to song? Is there a worship song that you go to when you really need to hear from the Lord? I know I have a few, and I would love to hear what yours are. I know right now a couple songs for me would be "Yes, I Will," which our worship band does. That's always a really good one, especially with what we're going through now as a society, and just as people. That's one that really stands out to me. And then there's a song called Tremble that just has great words. And if I can, I'll link to those songs in the description here. But I'd love to hear from you what songs maybe God uses to speak to you that are maybe your go-to pick-me-up kind of songs. And that might encourage somebody and also help us all maybe discover some new kinds of music. So thanks for joining me, and make sure that you like and subscribe and share the video and the channel so that we can have coffee, connect to Christ community, purpose, and God's Word together. See ya.